Hello, everybody. My name is Rose Katlego, and welcome to the NXL 360 show. No, you're not lost. I'll be your host for today, and I'm not riding solo. I'm going to be with Nadim Lukele. And yeah, man, welcome to the show. It's a big weekend, and I can tell you now, there is no weekend that is small. We're entering into a very, very good weekend. A lot of football, but we're going to be focusing on two matches. The Soweto Giants are facing two clubs. But before we get into that, let me just greet and see how he's doing. How are you, Nadim?
No. All good, Rose. Can't complain. Can't complain. Very interesting week all around.
No, it's good to see you, man. It's a big weekend, like I said. All the weekends after this are going to be very big because every game is very important to every team. You know, from the bottom to the top. You know, even in the middle. You know, teams want to get into the top eight, and I can tell you right now, every game matters. Like I said, we are previewing the two Soweto Giants, which is Orlando Pirates as well as Kaizer Chiefs. Orlando Pirates. Let's start with Pirates. Pirates is playing at home, the arena, the Orlando Amstel Arena, and they are facing Siwelele. I just want to see what is your take. You know, Pirates won during the week, but you know that game it was down to the wire. Richards Bay gave Pirates, you know, a run for their money, and I think a lot of people were starting to panic. You know, we saw the fans how they were towards the Pirates defense and some of the players, but this Pirates team they will make it. It seems like they will make it work, no matter the circumstances, and they're the top of the log. So this is not a familiar spot, especially at this time of the season. We're playing game number 20 and there's 10 matches left. So I just want to ask you, what is your take on the game that they're going to be playing against Siwelele? You know, the last time that they played Siwelele, they actually won. So what is your take going into the weekend?
Yeah, Rose. Thanks for that. Interesting take on Suwelele because it's a team that are coached by Siema who did so well at Sekhukhune. But if you look at them in the log, they are only 5 wins from 19 games. It's not a good look for them, obviously. And it's one of those matches where you feel Orlando Pirates should win because they are fighting for the league title. And so, the good thing about them, it's not a team when people are talking about relegation and say they might be relegated. They will be there and about. I don't know where they will finish, but obviously outside the top eight, obviously not getting relegated because teams like Orbit they are making it easy for teams like Swelele. I mean, I saw when Orbit College played Sundowns, the coach of Orbit said they expect to lose some of those matches. Swelele is the same team that drew with Sundowns. They don't expect to win, to lose against Sundowns. They drew with Sundowns. So you can see the ambition of Swelele just to be in the top 10 where Kaizer Chiefs, you'll find Kaizer Chiefs for the past two seasons. But at the same time, you can't say it's Welele. It's a team that can really upset Orlando Pirates away from home. If that happens, of course, you will feel Orlando Pirates will have lost points because Pirates it's a team that have done well at home. One would say they've been consistent. They've lost two matches against Sekhukhune and Mamelodi Sundowns. All of the other matches they've won, not draws, which is impressive. That's what you get from Orlando Pirates. Even away from home, one will say Swedele, they've not really done so well. That's why it's one of those matches where you think the Buccaneers will be too strong for Swedele. Yes, Swedele, they are hard to beat. There's a team that I remember when they played in the cup game. Pirates, when they scored, obviously, via a goal of I think it was Mbogazi. It was very difficult match. They can defend very well and be strong, but it's one of those matches where you think it can be very, very difficult for Pirates to break in because, as we see, Pirates historically they struggle to play against a team that play low block. But it looks like this coach under Owado has mastered that. That's why, for me, I'll always say he has been the best Pirates coach because Pirates those matches where you feel like they can draw 1-1, they find a way to win it.
No. You are right. Actually, when you're saying that when they played in the Black Label Cup where Umbogazi scored one goal, and the previous time where they also actually played this where they also scored only one goal. So Mina, I'm not as confident to say Guti Pirates is gonna score a lot of goals because it seems like they've played two matches in recent times, and then now they're going into this match. But there's a lot at stake in terms of Orlando Pirates. I can tell you right now, they want to keep that position. And in terms of Siwele, I'm a bit disappointed in Siwele. I expected more actually in terms of the coach, in terms of the players. Even though they are a new team that they are new in terms of a name, but the players, they're a lot of super sport players that are in that team. but I expected more. But these teams, when they face teams like Pirates, even though Sundowns beat them in the previous game, they want to give it their all. So I feel like it's not going to be a game that has got a lot of goals. I think it might just be 1-0. The most, it can be 2-0. Because I think the problem with what Pirates is facing now is that they create a lot of chances, but they don't convert them. And I think that is going to cost them, in my own opinion, towards the end of the season, especially if they want to win the league this season, because it's so tight. So tight. Every game is always up and down between them and Mamelodi Sundowns. So what I want to ask you is that in terms of the fans, in terms of the booing at the stadium, the Pirates fans are very hard to please. We saw how the defense did a few mistakes. I'm not going to mention names, but they were not happy with the defense as well as up front. So what is it? Because now the Pirates fans are also under pressure. So it's like now you are in a match whereby you're a player, you're playing, then you've got a coach that's coaching you, you've got friends that are also coaching you. So I think that might be the difference, because now the players won't be settled in terms of each and every game. They have to please the fans, they have to please the coach, they themselves have to play the game.
Yeah, interesting thing. I don't know why you're scared to say Paris fans were booing CBC and also Mbutuma. Rightfully so. I believe they deserve to be booed. They deserve to be booed. The fans, I can't say I'm encouraging them to boo CBC, but I'm also not condemning them in booing CBC, because I honestly don't think CBC deserves to play for Orlando Pirates as a captain. He doesn't make the team improve. I've seen Bogazi. I mean, this boy was 20 years, 19 years. He came in and carried the team, Orlando Pirates, in his shoulders. Even when Pirates was struggling to really crack teams, Bogazi will stand above the shoulders and go and score. You can't say that against CBs. Even offensively, Bogazi will help Pirates and will make Siema look good. He will improve him. He doesn't even improve Siema. And he's a captain of Orlando Pirates Football Club. Honestly speaking, I'm not going to say it deserves to be put. I'll never say that, obviously, that a player deserves to be put. But I'm like basically judging him as an Orlando Pirates player. He needs to step up his game. I understand why fans will go to Orlando Stadium, use their own petrol, use their own money, leave their wife. I mean, some people can even lose their girlfriends while they're at the stadium. Then they go there. The player must show that he is really to improve. Pirates are fighting for the league title. Look at Sundowns. They've got Grant Kekana, Cupido, Damane, Vala, lots of centre back. Immediately you make a mistake, another one will come in. Why at Pirates is not because it's been making mistakes? Why is not being taken off? So for me, I will say yes, Pirates must beat Swelele. Swelele, if you can check, in the nine games they played away from home, they've only scored 3. They've only won 1, which was beating Stellenbosch 2-0. Only 1 win out of 9. Really, yeah, it's an obvious win for Orlando Pirates. I expect Orlando Pirates to win. I agree with you. You are not going to see a lot of scoring, because Pirates are not a high scoring team. If you say Pirates will win 5-0, it's fine. You can think for yourself. You've got strikers like Mbutuma who are capable of missing one-on-one. At least if it doesn't, when he plays, he might play the whole game without having a shot on goal. You've got Tito Maswangani, obviously, who can get a goal here and there. But the strikers like Mahopa, they need to improve. I don't know why the coach keeps on starting Mbutuma, because Mbutuma, the fans are starting to be impatient with him. He makes a lot of mistakes offensively. It's like at one point in time when I was watching Orlando Pirates playing Richards Bay, I thought Pirates were playing with a red card, because Mbutuma was offering nothing. He was not a danger to the defense. Imagine having a forward who's not a danger. That's why people will always go back and say Pirates made a mistake in releasing Mabasa. Mabasa was just above Mbutuma. No one can tell me who's honest and say Mbutuma is a better striker than Mabasa. Then the question remains, why did Pirates release Mabasa and not come with a replacement? So I'm never gonna blame those fans who are booing Mbutuma as well as CBC, because the challenge is not to nest anyone's egos. It's been 14 years since Orlando Pirates last won the league title. I mean, Benny McCarthy was at Orlando Stadium promoting his book. He was playing for Orlando Pirates the last time Pirates won the league. It's unacceptable. Now, Benny McCarthy's daughter was very old. Now it's old. I think the child now is like, the daughter is grown. Was a baby. I remember meeting that child. So it can't be that Orlando Pirates have not won the league in 14 years. So Pirates must win the league. If it tend to other players who will be criticized by the fans, will be put in order for them to by the fans, so be it. If that will take that kind of, the fans, they are doing a good job, and the players must stop this nonsense of trying to walk away from them after the game, walking away from the fans. They will never win the battle with the fans because them, the players of Orlando Pirates, they are 11 or 22. The fans are 40,000. How can you win a war with 40,000 people if you're 11? The players must think. Actually, imagine, Rose, if Pirates, let's say they are losing 2-0, then the fans walk away. The fans are capable of doing that. If Pirates are down 2-0, they can walk away. Because the players must stop having pride that when they're getting put after the match, they walk away. For me, it's unacceptable. It's disrespectful because they are playing for Orlando Pirates. They know that immediately you play for Orlando Pirates, there's a pressure in each and everything you do.
Yeah, no, man, that's true. There's always pressure. Like there's always pressure, and some of the players, when it comes to Pirates, there's a match of old and the new. I feel like the old players should have taken themselves that, you know what, these things do happen. Walking away, I don't think it's part of. I don't think it's gonna fix anything. Some of these new players, like Umbutuma, maybe they stage fright. I don't understand it. Maybe we must give him time. I don't understand what is the problem. And I think when it comes to CBC, it's so sad because he's the captain of the ship. Imagine if the captain of the ship is underperforming, and then now you've got the fans that are behind him. But yeah, man, that's what I concluded. But let's get back to the field. It seems like the coach is getting the starting 11 that is a starting 11 that is consistent, because previously the private coach, he's been playing, every game he changes there and there, but it seems like now he's got a starting 11. Yes, he can change there and there, but he's got a starting 11 that is consistent. What is your take on that before I get your predictions about Orlando Pirates and Sweden?
Yeah, no. Yeah, you are right there. It might be that the people who are running Orlando Pirates speak to the coach that is no longer coaching Marumo Galanzu, where you'll do experiment each and every game, because it reached to a point where Oado was being disrespectful to Orlando Pirates. I mean, you'll see a player like Hoto being fit, putting on the bench, and then you'll play Ndaba. You will tell us that Ndaba must play like ahead of Hoto while they are trying to win the league. The guy, and then you see Mbata not being even making the team. Mbata is, at the moment, is the most important player at Orlando Pirates. If you don't play Mbata, you're being disrespectful. You can't play Nemate Jela ahead of Mbata unless Mbata is really injured or suspended. That is the only thing. So the coach now is trying to, common sense is trying to prevail. It looks like he's going to play the players who are very important to Orlando Pirates, because you're never going to win a war with Nemate Jela when Mbata is on the stands. It's so painful because sometimes we feel like the players are not injured. Now the only thing that he needs to change, he needs to play Mahopa every time he's fit and put Mbutuma, because Mbutuma is a Richards Bay player. Even at Richards Bay, if you can check his record, why did Pirates sign Mbutuma? Nothing tell. It's not like he was never a top goal scorer in the league like De Jong or like Mayo at Chiefs, who was scoring 10 goals. He has never scored more than 10 goals in a season. Why did Pirates sign Mbutuma? Mbutuma is actually lucky. I know that there is a story documentary at Pirates where they say he's staying with his grandmother. For me, the only reason I can see Mbutuma playing for Pirates, imthanda nje gogogo wakhe only. It can't be on merit that Mbutuma is an Orlando Pirates player. I'm sorry. Pirates need a better striker than Mbutuma. Nothing personal.
Yeah, I think that question, then we can also ask, why is Hugo Bruce picking Mbutuma? Mbutuma was part of the Bafana Bafana setup. So I think maybe that's when they saw that, there's potential in this player, when it comes to Mbutuma. But before we just finish, I just want to ask you, what is the prediction for this match, in terms of Orlando Pirates versus Siwelele, so that we can move on to the next match? And if there's anything that you want to add, you can add on in terms of this match.
Yeah, it's one of those matches. I expected the same score, Orlando Pirates to win 2-0, just like they won again. I know the fans would want 3 or 4-0. Obvious. It will be good for Pirates because it looks like the league might be decided by goals. Yeah, I think Orlando Pirates will win 2-0 against Siwelele. Yes, Siwelele will be. They are not going to go all out. CMA will try to be defensive. If you can go all out, then it can be 3-0, just like Marumo Gallants lost 3-0 at Orlando Pirates. The Marumo Gallants coach, he was suspended after the Orlando Pirates. I'm sure he was suspended for going to Orlando Amstel Arena and attack Pirates, because again he was supposed just to be defensive. If you try to attack Pirates, you're giving them spaces to create a lot of chances. I see it ending it like that. I can't see even Sweden scoring a goal, because if you look away from home, they only scored 3 goals. How are they going to score at Orlando with a team that have only conceded 8 goals in 20 matches?
All right, no, I see. It's clear there that Pirates is gonna win. That's Nadim's take that Orlando Pirates is gonna win, and it won't be a high scoring game. But Pirates at home, that's a slaughterhouse. They are very lethal, and they're gonna win that match. And as so with that match, let's move on to the other Soweto Giants. We're talking about Kaiser Chiefs. There's a lot that we can say about this team because right about now, there's so many things that are happening in that team. But what I want to just my first take, they're facing Durban City, by the way, which the previous game, Flavio Silva did score. Actually, Chiefs beat Durban City in the previous match, but now Chiefs are also playing at home. So the coach during the week, the Kaizer Chiefs coach, he came out. Now he's the head coach, Coach Kaze, and he's saying that he put up some stats showing that, guys, the director went to another show and he said that he's not happy, and now he's coming, he's showing the stats. You know what? You can say whatever you want to say, but stats don't lie. He went on to say that Chiefs has got accurate passes. They're number 2. He wanted to say he's got his shots on target. Chiefs is number 1. Accurate crosses. Chiefs is number 3. Clean sheets. Chiefs is number 2. So what is the problem if the stats are so good when it comes to Kaizer Chiefs? They are facing Durban City, and Chiefs truly do need a saving match. And I think this just may be it, where Chiefs turn things around. What do you think? What is your take?
Yeah. I think there are no problems with Chiefs. According to the guy, Chiefs are leading with their statistics, ball position, everything, creating chances and all those kind of things. That's just it. Chiefs are getting exactly what they deserve. This is exactly the meal they ordered. How can you ask an interpreter to coach? This is what you're gonna get when you get an interpreter. I mean, the guy is an interpreter. He was telling us what Nabi was saying. Then he blackmailed. I mean, they tried to sabotage Nabi. They betrayed. I mean, obviously, Nabi was betrayed by Kezam Jonah and the interpreters. Then they said they can do a better job. Now, instead of like admitting that in the history of Kaizer Chiefs, they have never lost 4 games in a row, is coming up with useless, meaningless stats. I don't know. I don't even know where they got. For me, those stats are irrelevant. The stats that matters: how many points do you have? How many goals have you scored? Maybe the ball positions and the shots on goal. All the other stats, chances created. Do you know, Ross, that even a throw in, if you throw, it's regarded as a chance created. Even a corner kick is being called. If you can get 10 corner kicks, you've created 10 chances. Some of the statistics don't make sense. They are meaningless. So for me, that's the story. I think Cedric Katz and Kezam Taung Juna, both of them is very clear. Kezam Taung Juna doesn't deserve to be sporting director of Kaizer Chiefs. It's very clear that Bobby Mtaonga is the one who is supposed to be running the team. That's why he went to Metro FM and say Chiefs must be number 2 and all those kind of things. The interpreter, because it's very clear that the Kratz doesn't respect Kezam Taung Juna. That's why he was actually answering with the statistics. He was answering Kezam Taung Juna, which you are lying. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm doing well. What doing well? Look at the impressive that it's very clear the guy that he doesn't even have respect for Kezam Taung Juna. He doesn't. He's just like, okay, we are talking too much. Let me talk in the village. You'll go to radio station to Robert Marawa. I will use your TV in the village and expose you that you were lying on Robert Marawa. So for me, what's happening at Kaizer Chiefs is just like embarrassing. That just shows that Bobby Mtaunga must go back and become a director of Chiefs and become the sporting director. Kezam Taung Juna must focus on other things, not running the team. As long Chiefs thinks they are smart, it thinks Kezam Taung Juna is gonna run the team, they will collapse like this. They will be fighting each other against Durban City. Durban City will come and finish the job at FNP. They will be pointing each other after the game. It's so interesting.
Man, like you're saying, I think the biggest problem now, it's actually fun now when I think about it. We fans are not happy with the players, the work that they put out. They're not happy with the coaches, the work that they put out. They feel like those coaches are not qualified to even be there because even when they came into the team, they were not the head coaches. And then they are not happy now with management, and now we can see that there's tension because now there's rumors that there's a Bobby camp and there's a Kaizer Motaung junior camp. So we can now see, and actually when I'm looking at the log, Durban City is above the Kaizer Chiefs. Durban City is number 4. Kaizer Chiefs is number 6. Obviously, with Chiefs, they've got 2 games in hand. But I feel like now Chiefs is going to be a target. Now teams are going to come and say, you know what, we are going to leave either with 3 points or point with this team. And it's so sad to see such a big team like Kaizer Chiefs, going through such stuff, because you can tell that there's a lot of things that are not well. Like I said, players, coaches, management. You can just imagine how it is every day at Naturena, on an everyday basis. But looking at this game in terms of Durban City, like I said, Chiefs won the last time. They won by 1-0. But now we're looking at a Chief. At that time, fans are even saying that Chiefs can even win the league. But now we are seeing a different story, that everyone seems like they're not happy with the mighty Kaizer Chiefs. As expected, Chiefs is a big team. So, in terms of Durban City, do you think Durban City has a chance to get maybe a point at FNB Stadium?
It's not about they have a chance. They will win. They will beat Kaizer Chiefs. Remember, Kaizer Chiefs have lost 4 games in a row. I think they will beat Kaizer Chiefs. I don't know. Are you scared, Rose, of saying Chiefs will lose to Durban City?
No. I don't want Chiefs to lose, actually, because it's gonna be really bad. Because now Chiefs, like 5 games in a row, to me it's gonna be like the players are also trying to sabotage the coach, because now it's like the players are saying to the coach, we also don't want the coaches, the co-coaches, they don't want you guys to coach the team next season, because now maybe they're trying the coach to go. Like we saying that there's different camps. So and so is with this one. So I want Chiefs to at least draw, not lose, because it's gonna be really really bad. That's just my take.
Yeah, interesting take, Rose. I saw Durban City playing against Golden Arrows with a red card. That team is very good. It has really improved. Lada, I will say, is doing a good job there. I don't see a reason why. I mean, I saw Stellenbosch going to Kaizer Chiefs and getting 3 points. And if you can check in terms of balance of power, it looks like Durban City is a better team than Stellenbosch. That's why they are number in the log. If you can check, obviously Durban City are higher than Kaizer Chiefs on number 4. So that they are in that position on merit. I believe Kaizer Chiefs will lose that game. There are so many problems. The people, I mean, the management of Kaizer Chiefs, I mean, the guy you can see is putting an earpiece. It's very clear that he's talking to some people while coaching the team. Obviously, we know who he's talking to. We don't believe that thing of lies and say he's talking to an analyst. No, we know that some people are trying to tell him what to do. The guy is not coaching the team. One, and the fans also. It looks like the fans are coaching the team, because we've seen incidents when you want to substitute something, the fans will protest. Kaizer Chiefs is a chaotic environment. They are playing Durban City is very organized. It's gonna be difficult for Kaizer Chiefs. They will need to be there on paper. Kaizer Chiefs, obviously, they can get a draw or win, but on the pitch, where Durban City are strong, and I have so much respect for these KZN teams. All of them have improved. Durban City, they've improved. Amazulu have improved. Richards Bay have improved. Golden Arrows have improved. This is the rise of like KZN football. And those teams from KZN, we saw what I would say Pirates were lucky to get those 3 points, because for me it looks like Makaula should have been judged. That should have been a penalty, because when he hit the ball in the hand, that hand was not in a natural position. But I'm not a ref. It could have been the new laws of the game that have been introduced. But for Chiefs to win against Durban City, it's going to be difficult. I'm seeing a lot of improvement from this kind of team. They are not in the Nedbank Cup semi-final by an accident.
Yeah, man, Durban City is doing so well for themselves, even the position that they're in. I mean, Durban City is a new team in the PSL, but their position, I mean, we've got 20 games and already they are in the top 5. I think they could stay in the top 8, even though there's 10 games to play, but they've really, really done well for themselves. And in terms of Chiefs, my take is that I don't even know who's going to be playing in the starting lineup, because the same problem that Pirates had, the co-coaches, they keep changing players each and every game. You don't know who's gonna come. You don't know what kind of formation they're gonna pick. So in terms of Chiefs, I'm not even sure who they're gonna play this weekend. What is your take on that? And I've got a question after that regarding a previous coach that used to coach Kaizer Chiefs.
Yeah. It's very clear that there's confusion at Kaizer Chiefs. Once you see a team making so many changes, it can't be Katlego that you reach 20 games, you still don't have a starting 11. That's a sign of a bad coach. So at Kaizer Chiefs, it's a chaotic environment. That's what you get when you order interns to coach a chief. There will always be changes. This one must come in. This one must come in. That's why I'm not against what's happening in Chiefs. I actually encourage it to go on up until the management of team Chiefs take the team serious. I honestly believe they don't take the team serious. Now I hear stories that the fans who went to Naturena, they are being arrested. They're opening case. What is that? Like, what is that? I don't understand. Maybe I'm wrong. So for me, I think also it doesn't help that as we're heading to the game, we don't know the system Kaizer Chiefs will play. We don't know the starting lineup. Such a big team with Orlando Pirates, you know that tomorrow Mbata and Makaula will be in the mix. You know, Central CBC will be there making mistakes, and then with CM on the left, Hoto, you know, will be going up and down, moving right. It's gonna be Sibelebele or Dino van Royong. You know, but the Kaizer Chiefs, you don't even know the center back. Sometimes even the goalkeeper, you might see Ntwari coming in, not Bavuma. I mean, a team that can even make changes in the goalkeeping department. No. It looks like we're hating, but for me, Kaizer Chiefs, they are not serious, honestly speaking.
Sure, man. It's so sad, like I said, man. But one thing I know about the Kaizer Chiefs fans, they're gonna come and support the team, regardless. They are going to go to FNB and support that team. And like you're saying, there's a coach, Stuart Baxter, came out and he was just saying that even when he was at Chiefs, there were also interference from management. So he's saying that then the management is to decide if they want to hire a coach that can make their own decision, because he was like they were even influential in terms of buying players. And for him, on like what we're saying now, it seems like now it's playing all over again. What Stuart Baxter is saying, we are seeing it play all over again with Coach Cedric and his co-coach. What is your take? Because now I feel like everyone just comes out and wants to say something. I saw Tusopal the other day. I think it was Kune. He said they are not soccer players; they're influencers. I feel like Chiefs is a big team, and people are worried as to what has Kaizer Chiefs come to. Now hearing a coach that has coached Kaizer Chiefs for a very long time, Stuart Baxter, coming out and saying, I also went through something like this at Chiefs whereby I couldn't make my own decisions.
Thanks so much, Katlego, for that question. I would like to thank Stuart Baxter for coming out publicly and exposing Kaizer Chiefs that they are interfering with the coaches. I mean, I've been wondering why coaches like Ernst Middendorp, Gavin Hunt, Stuart Baxter, Gavin Johnson will go to Kaizer Chiefs and fail. Guys like Gavin Hunt, you can see now he took Stellenbosch from relegation. Now people are saying Stellenbosch can be in the top 8. Guys like Gavin Johnson nearly won the league with Platinum Stars. Guys like Ernst Middendorp, it's always been a decent coach. Stuart Baxter is the guy who won the league with Kaizer Chiefs. I'm happy. I listened to the interview. He said the last time he had a coach, an assistant coach, was Dr. Kumar. It's very clear Atazwan and Dylan Shepard, they were spies for the management. They were betraying him and all those kind of things. That was a very, very interesting interview. I would like to thank the old man. Actually, I need to get his number to thank him for exposing this public, because it looks like we're mad. I remember, like, we're on Metro FM. I was saying the problems at Kaizer Chiefs. After the interview on Metro FM with Andy, Daddy Mkonza was lying, speaking good things about Kaizer Chiefs, because I don't know, he was trying to get tickets or something. He was trying to still become this legend when Chiefs then give him a new jersey to honor him. Then Mkonza said, may soul rest in peace, of course. Yeah, Kaizer Chiefs is a well-run institution. I knew that he was lying because he told me after the show. But after the show, one of the Kaizer Chiefs people called him to thank him for saying good things about the team. Honestly speaking, for me, there's a guy who told me that Kaizer Chiefs is more of a PR than a soccer team. This whole thing of interfering is becoming embarrassing, but I'm happy that it's getting exposed. And it's very clear, Rose. Your previous question, actually, it answers that. Why there's always changes? We don't even know the system. It's very clear that there's interference. Nabi came with a good reputation from young Africans winning the league in Tanzania. When they became a runners-up, lost in a cup, come to Chiefs, he can't even make the top 8 because he was not coaching the team. And the interpreters took over. It looks like at start they knew what they were doing. Now there's changes every game, change of system, change of players, change of defenders. At least, even if you can make changes, have a solid defense, have a solid goalkeeper. it's very clear, Rose, that at Kaizer Chiefs, the interference, it has reached its peak. Their management. I remember I once went to Chomoso on a Chomo Cosmo training. I asked Prache, why are you not hiring a coach? Because it's very clear you're up and down. Come to the PSL and go. He says, Nadim, it's just because you don't know football. I said, why? He said, you don't know the fact that I'm the only chairman in the PSL who's bold enough to sit on the bench. I said, yeah, what? He said, all the chairmen of other teams are coaching for themselves. Me, you guys are supposed to thank me for sitting on the bench because other chairmen are scared of sitting on the bench. They're also coaching. Now it makes sense when you hear such stories that the management was. If Stuart Baxter can say that, it's very clear that he cannot be lying. If he's lying, then I'm waiting for Kaizer Chiefs to sue him to say he's lying, is destroying the reputation. No, they are not going to do that because it's the truth. So Kaizer Chiefs is there. The problem is Kaizer Jona. The problem is the guys who are running the team. For me, the bigger problem is Kaizer Jona than Povim Taonga because I've seen Kaizer Chiefs when Povim Taonga was running it. There was no team in the PSL that will be happy playing against Chiefs. Chiefs were winning a trophy every season. They were difficult to beat. They would always become a problem. No team was happy playing Kaizer. Now it's nice playing Kaizer Chiefs. At one point in time, I heard Vosumuzo Vilakazi saying, I want to play Kaizer Chiefs to deal with them. When was it Richards Bay? Yes, he played Kaizer Chiefs and beat them 1-0. For me, the interference is not working. Rather, Kaizer Mtong June and the guys who are interfering, they must just sit on the bench like Dr. Kumaro. That's how I see it.
You've said a mouthful there. You know what? When you're saying that each and every coach feels like they can beat Chiefs, I think because most of the coaches grew up supporting Kaizer Chiefs, and now they feel like, hey, Batu, now this team that I've always loved, it seems like I've got a chance. And if you beat Kaizer Chiefs, you will be the team will be trending. The players that score against them, they'll be trending. But just before we close it, I want to ask you, the prediction. I feel like Chiefs might get a draw. But I want to ask you before we close it off, what is your prediction for I know you say that Chiefs is going to lose, but by how many goals is Chiefs going to lose?
I think they will lose 1-0. The same score they lost against Richards Bay. I don't think they lost to Richards Bay by an accident. Remember, they didn't even have a shot on goal. Richards Bay should have scored 3 goals. They scored 1. I expect Durban City to go to FNB and got 1-0 and defend very well and finish the game. There's nothing that achieves that motivates me to think they can even get a draw or win the game. There's nothing that if Chiefs will get a result, at least a point, I would be surprised. For me, it looks like they might stay there for a long time on 30 points. At Durban City, definitely they need 3 or 4 wins from the 10 matches to make the top 8. I think they will be in the top 8, which will be an admirable result from them. It's so interesting at Durban City that they've changed Gavin Hunt. Then they hire Padela. But they are still winning. So it's a very interesting thing. It's very clear that the coaches, the owners of the team, they know what they are doing. Of which the results are there. At Kaizer Chiefs, we see good statistics, but we see an opposite result.
Okay, man. Seems like Chiefs is going to be losing this weekend. Nadim, thank you so much. It's been a good chat. You know what? It's a preview. I think we'll talk after the game, the 2 games, or we can even do it after Pirates as well as after Chiefs. But it's a very 2 big important games. I feel like Chiefs is gonna turn it around against Durban City, and I feel like yes, you are right. Pirates is gonna win against Siwelele, but it's gonna be a very very tough match. I will see you guys soon. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Next match, we're gonna be doing a review tonight. Actually, Sundowns is playing. We're gonna see how that goes. Another match that's playing tonight is also Stellenbosch against TX Galaxy. We'll see how that also goes. But the focus was the 2 big teams, which is Kaizer Chiefs as well as Orlando Pirates. It's been good. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you and see you soon.